I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I got added into Guild Wars 2. Like, the developers put an item in the game that references me. Well, sort of. See, if you've played Guild Wars 2, you may have seen references in the game that correlate to things in real life. For example, movies such as The Terminator or even The Lion King. Maybe you killed too many chickens in Ebonhawk that eventually led to your demise, which is a direct reference to the Legend of Zelda games. But some content creators themselves get lucky and have references of them added into the game, like achievements deliberately referencing a content creator's video. Perhaps an NPC is added into the game with that content creator's likeness. Or, if you're extremely lucky, you can actually get an item in the game that directly resembles or references you. And so just the other day, I was browsing all the armor skins in the game because I was ready to give my main character a fresh new look. Let's be honest here, the endgame content for any MMORPG is dressing up our virtual characters. And that's when I suddenly stumbled upon that one item that was a clear reference to me. I'm gonna go ahead and rip this band-aid off right here. ArenaNet never confirmed that this specific item is actually referencing me. Hold on a second, before I go all conspiracy theory on you, I have so much evidence and details to prove to you that this is probably a reference to me. So before you leave a comment saying, wait a second, this item is not a reference to you, just give me a second. Let me cook.
Just let him cook.
Thank you. And there's a fair bit to uncover. So we'll go back in time to where this all began, starting with the launch of End of Dragons in early 2022. My trip to Thailand, where a specific event took place, a viral Twitter post in the Guild Wars 2 community, and an item that was added into the game 5 months later. This is the story of how an item that might actually reference me got added into Guild Wars 2. Our story begins all the way back in early 2022, the launch date of End of Dragons. I was quite excited to play this last chapter in the Dragon Saga. I ended up streaming my whole experience on YouTube, so you can go back and watch any of these older videos on my channel, where you'll see me geek out playing End of Dragons for the very first time. And of course, you'll see this next moment that plays a key role in our story today. And that is when I met Soo-Won for the very first time. And that's where I said to myself, oh my God. Listen, the encounter with Soo-Won is one of my favorite moments within Guild Wars 2, because any MMORPG player that watches this kind of footage, they might think, okay, he's playing like a raid boss or some kind of instance boss with a bunch of people. No, this is the open world of Guild Wars 2. You can just stumble upon Soo-Won one day if you're in this map. Now, I hope you don't stumble upon her by yourself, because you're gonna need a whole group of like 50 or so people to take her down. Visually, the fight with Soo-Won is incredible, because you're only fighting like the quarter half of her. The other half of her is wrapped around the whole building that you're on, the Harvest Temple. It is absolutely stunning that they have this whole custom model for one specific character in the game. Like, at one point, she'll use her tail and smack it on the stage, and if you're standing in that zone and get smacked by that tail, I'm sorry, you're going back to the lobby right there. It is what it is. There's another point during the fight where she'll put your teammates in bubbles, and if you don't do enough damage to the bubbles to free your teammates, they'll just die, and they'll float up and keep on floating. They'll probably just float on over into the next MMORPG. And story-wise, it's so heart-wrenching, because Soo-Won is actually your teammate. She's on your side, but she's being corrupted by the Void, which is basically like dark magic, and it's corrupting her body and mind, which is why she's actually fighting you. So Soo-Won will say these things like, "Help me!" And once the Void kind of takes over her body again, she'll say something even more edgier, such as,
"The end will come fast, and death will be your deliverance."
And during the launch week of End of Dragons, Soo-Won was extremely difficult. Like, people couldn't take her down as a boss. It took a well-organized group to even have a chance to be able to defeat her. And you can look at the footage right here to see me completely shocked and flabbergasted at seeing Soo-Won for the very first time. I could probably geek out about Soo-Won for another 10 minutes, but I'll go ahead and move forward with the story. So let's go ahead and fast forward 6 months later to where me and my girlfriend, we took a trip to Thailand. Now Thailand is great because if you're looking to go on a vacation on a budget, then Thailand definitely has your back. Specifically, if you have a job where you're making either dollars or euros, the exchange rate for the currency, Thai baht, is going to be well in your favor. The most expensive thing for Thailand is the flight there and the flight back. Everything else in Thailand, like food, accommodation, travel, it's super duper cheap. If you ever visit Thailand in the future, just make sure you respect the locals, be kind to everyone that you see, and of course, keep the environment clean while you're there. Don't just throw trash on the ground and be that kind of tourist. But my girlfriend and I, we had a fantastic time in Thailand. Some of my favorite locations were Phi Phi Island, Tiger Cave Temple, and the city of Pai. And that's actually where our story continues, in Pai. No, not pie that you eat. It's actually a location in Thailand. See, I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually have a lot of tattoos on my arm. Maybe you've seen them during the video, and they're all actually based off of villains in video games. And we soon realized that if we wanted to get a tattoo done in Thailand, it would be way cheaper compared to where we live in Germany. And it just so happened that I had a giant section on my arm where my shoulder and my arm meet, and I was hoping to get all of that filled in. And it would be fantastic if I could get some piece that references Guild Wars 2. However, I'm not an artist, I can't draw for the life of me, so if I wanted to get something really nice done on my arm, I needed to make sure I had a drawing that I was really thrilled with. And it just so happens that I'm dating an artist. So I explained to my girlfriend who Soo-Won is, what she looks like, and a couple hours later, she's sitting on her iPad drawing out a whole piece that could eventually be added onto my arm. She was able to basically bring Soo-Won to life and really showcase how long her tail is, and the tattoo artist had a lot of creativity because Soo-Won is giant, so the whole tattoo can basically wrap around my arm. And since we were staying in Pai for just over a week, we decided to go ahead and visit one of the local tattoo shops there. One of them turned us away. They were like, we don't specialize in this. We recommend you go to this tattoo shop in Pai. There's an individual over there that can do exactly what you're looking for. And this is where we met the tattoo artist, Jay. She works at Cross Tattoo Studios in Pai. We presented the idea. Jay was able to kind of redesign the tail to kind of wrap around my arm. And soon I found myself sitting on a tattoo bed, getting Soo-Won permanently inked on my arm. It was definitely something I didn't plan on doing in Thailand, but once I realized how cheap tattoos are, I couldn't say no. The tattoo itself was so big and complex that it took her 2 days before it was finally inked all on my arm. I think for the first day, I was laying on that tattoo bed for like 10 or 11 hours. And when I went home that night, I threw up. Like, my body was not having a good time. I'll say up front, it wasn't because the tattoo studio wasn't clean or anything like that. I think it's just that I had so much done on my body, and you constantly bleed a little bit when you're getting tattooed, like your skin can bleed, that my body was not having a good time and I got sick. This is actually a thing when you get big complex tattoos. You can get this thing called, I think it's called tattoo flu or something. Don't quote me on that, but this does happen to some people. And it's just ironic that it was a Soo-Won tattoo. Like, the boss itself was so hard in the game, I got defeated in real life when getting it tattooed on my arm. And yeah, here's footage of me laying there sick, trying to get over tattoo flu. But after a day or so of me finally getting over tattoo flu, I went back into the studio, and this is when she could finally complete the tattoo. And here's the finished product. I think it looks absolutely incredible. Like, it's still on my body to this day. It wraps around my whole arm. You got her giant, let me see, her giant looking tail right there on the back. I couldn't have done this without my girlfriend for designing and coming up with the tattoo, and Jay for actually being able to ink it on my body. So once the tattoo was completely finished, I was able to post some of the photos on Twitter right before I went to sleep. And then in the morning when I woke up, I realized, damn, this is doing some actual numbers. Yeah, the Guild Wars 2 community had a field day with this tweet, and there were so many nice comments about it. Wow, it looks incredible, but the coolest part is the developers at ArenaNet, they were commenting on it. They were retweeting it and like bringing their colleagues in saying, hey, you gotta check this out. It was fantastic. And a couple weeks later, I actually posted a photo on Reddit as well. The same thing took place. An ArenaNet developer actually said they really liked the tattoo. So all in all, it was definitely a big hit within the Guild Wars 2 community. Now the story takes a pause. We gotta fast forward 5 months later. Now I didn't actually see this item get added into the game, but it did. March 7th, 2023, ArenaNet added these tattoo packs within the game. These items are armor skins that replace both your chest/arms and legs with different tattoo designs. They had 3 different packs: the Bestial Tides, Serpentine, and the Fire Bloom tattoo packs. And I didn't really take a look at them when they came out because I was playing other games at the time, but just a couple weeks ago, I was redesigning my thief and looking at all the armor skins within the game. So I was at the bank vendor and I was looking, okay, what kind of chest piece do I want to get? And that's when I stumbled upon it. The Serpentine tattoo pack, specifically for the chest, looks so identical to the Soo-Won, specifically like this wrapping part that goes around your body. It looks so identical to my tattoo. And you can dye it as well. So like I could have it like this specific color. And I was mind blown. I'm like, when did this come out? This looks so identical to my tattoo. It only took 5 months since I posted that tweet on Twitter that made its rounds all over ArenaNet. And then coincidentally, there were tattoo packs within the game. And one of them looks very identical to mine. And I know you might make the argument out front, well, this isn't a dragon, this is a snake instead. Okay, yeah, I hear you out, but come on, guys, like look at how it wraps around my arm, right? And it's the same kind of thing with the Serpentine pack. There has to have been some artist at ArenaNet that saw these photos of my tattoo. I know there were plenty of developers that took a look at it, was maybe inspired by it, and made tattoo packs in the game. And I think it's pretty cool if that is the case. I don't know, maybe I'm just really going full-blown delusional right here and going, hey, wait a second, this connection and this connection means that this tattoo is based off of my tattoo. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think there's a lot of dots that connect, and specifically the timeline of me posting about this tattoo, ArenaNet and many people there seeing it and showing their colleagues that work there at the studio, and then 5 months later, tattoo packs get added into the game. Like, come on, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think I'm just talking, or if you actually think that this tattoo is a reference to my tattoo. All in all, it's always a field day when you can find something really secret added into the game that is actually a reference to something in real life. If you're looking to run around in Tyria and play Guild Wars 2 with me, or kick my butt in World vs. World, I stream the game every single Tuesday, unless I'm sick with tattoo flu or something. Special shout out to the Patreon supporters, or Patreon supporter. There's only one person there. Appreciate you, homie. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video. As always, stay hydrated, gamers.